Hello. Yeah, so I got another quick update for you guys today. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. So I've been working on the image generation as well as the co-authoring. So I wanted to put it out there just to see if you guys have any input or what you think about it. So I'm just gonna log in here, and this is the site as you've seen it before. I've added the new footer here, and just kind of did some small updates. Nothing major is happening here yet. Wow, I mean, it's arguable, I guess. So, you've seen the create manuscripts screen before here. So I still have that going on, and here you have the selections of all the models that you can choose. Right now, I have the two that are hooked up, the GPT 3.5 Turbo. That's the default one that I'm using, and Gemini 1.5, and they're both calling the models, the actual the official endpoints to OpenAI and Google. So if I select Gemini, for example, here, I can generate a random title, and it kind of gets you started and makes it fun because when you're developing, you know how you do so many tests and stuff, and you just end up, getting the same test data and stuff like that. So it does get a bit old. You know what I mean? So that's what I do. So right now we got the Setnet sock. I don't know if you can see that. So that's essentially what we have here. But before I show you this, I'm going to show you another area that I've been working on, and which is the co-authoring part of things. So, and it falls into the categories. It falls into the whole idea of managing the tones and all your prompt building as you do your books, and how you before you generate your books, and how the books are managed and how the generation takes place. So you start off by creating personalities. So I call them narrative personalities. So in here, you have a list of personalities that you create under your user profile. And at this point here, you can define the style, the type of personality you want. Now, right now it's using AI personalities, but there's nothing that stops you from creating profiles for individuals, for examples. And so it's very doable. So in this case, we'll just create a new one just so I can show you how it works. So I'll just call this one, you know, demo guy, I guess. We'll just keep it simple. And he's, helping out. He's helping out. Help out. Now here you have all these different things you can select. So these are the parameters that define how the AI is going to behave and how it interacts with other AIs, including the subject matter. So it's going to provide some insight, guidance. Sort of, it'll guide the generation as it goes through the different levels. So you have a tone ID rather, yeah. So you have like high strung, suspenseful, witty, mocking, often ironic, stuff like that. You have a point of view type. So this is an important one because a lot of the books that are generated with AI, they come off sounding like they're kind of all the same. They sound sort of like somebody's reading you a story out of a newspaper or something. It doesn't always come off as being like a real writer. So with this sort of guidance, you actually can capture that, and it really gives it a storytelling like flavor. So the point of view, like I could say, like narrated, like in the first person, third person, and that sort of thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead with the narrated with by character using I. So like I did this, I did that, that sort of thing. And then the narrative depth. How far do you want? How do you want them to approach the subject matter? Objective, surface level narration, or some insight into the character's thoughts and stuff like that. So it really falls into different categories and types of styles that different authors would use, right? Like, Grisham and Stephen King and all those guys, right? They have a certain style that you kind of pick up on, so you can define it here. The sentence style, so longer, rhythmic, minimalist, abrupt, and all these things, they all fall into it like a kind of a profile, a personality, basically. Temperament, hopeful, upbeat, sad, reflective, that sort of thing. Interaction style, pushes back. Is he that kind of a person? Clever, sarcastic, that sort of thing. So you have all these things here. You have a preview button here that will actually you can generate text based on it. So if I say, and it actually uses the description right now, but that's actually a default prompt that I'm going to be setting up. It's plugged in. So right now it's going to call the AI with like, help me say something. I don't know, say something like this, right? And I'll just preview it. Now that calls back into the model. In this case here, it's GPT 3. 0.5, but I can change that. It depends. I haven't finished this yet. So as the sun dipped below the horizon, blah, blah, blah. So it's going to give you an example of kind of the way they would talk. So I can expand on this too to give it a little more interaction. You say, well, try saying something else and see how that comes back. And it'll give you an idea of what the personality might sound like, right? So now you save this personality and you have him here. He's saved and he's at the bottom, I believe. Demo guy right here, okay? And I have all these other ones set up already. So you have Loki Harold, all these different Christie style, Agatha Christie, Stephen King style, you know, that sort of thing. And these are just other ones that I created. Napoleon Hill style, if you're into that. And now that you have that, right? So you go back to the home screen and you go to the co-authoring room. Now this is where you build up your team, like your writer's room, okay? So you come here and now you can start to assign the team members to your writing group, to your team, to your co-authoring team is the best way to put it. So at this point here, you will go find the team that you just created, which is not here yet because we haven't done it. So we have our team member that we want, and he should be in this list here. The demo guy's down here, but he hasn't been assigned to a team yet. So we're going to create a new team. We'll call it Demo Guys Team. All right? Demo Guys Team. All right? And doesn't matter. Demo Guy and the gang, I guess. All right? And we're going to select the role for the team because teams can collaborate. So we're going to say it's an experimental team mode. So that's going to be that team. So we'll save that team. Now we have the Demo Guys team here. Now it doesn't have any current members assigned to it yet. So we're going to go say, okay, we want the demo guy on our team for sure. So we're going to add him to the team. And here we can select, okay, what's his role? What's he going to be doing? What's demo guy going to be doing? So we're going to say, well, he's going to write content anonymously. And the sort order is just who's most important. It's kind of like a hierarchy at work kind of style. So you decide what that is. His default, I haven't decided exactly what to do with that, but it's more of a data management sort of information that's being displayed here. So you can kind of disregard that. Same with some of the UI elements need some work. So I'm going to save that member. So now it's the UI could use a little work too, but you can see here, there's your demo guy. He's part of this team. So now you've got a team built up. And these are all previous teams that I've created earlier that reference some of the other guys. So you can see these have three team members. So each one of these team members has a personality and they're part of a team and all the teams are here. So you can choose. It sort of drives the tone for the entire book generation. And now we're talking about book generation, but this applies to pretty much anything. If you wanted to do like playwriting or you name it, a podcast, you want to set up, you want to do a textualized podcast or even generate audio from the manuscript, these are the driving elements that will help you do that because you can set the tone. Now now that I've shown you this, I'm just gonna jump right into a generation because that's something else I wanted to show you that I started to do yesterday and I got it to work, but it needs some work. So we're just gonna jump right into it. I know I talk a lot and I don't make a lot of sense a lot of times because I don't rehearse these things and I just jump right into it. So I'm gonna just go ahead and try to get a decent title to come out of here. And okay, my pet rock, existential. Okay, I need to learn how to read. Anyway, pet rock thing. So that's the idea I'm going to go with. I'm going to say 10 chapters, 1,000 words per chapter, and I'm going to go with, I guess I'll try some light and witty humorous. So I've got it set up here. Now this is the book that's going to generate. I'm going to reduce the chapter count just so it goes a little bit quicker. So 5 chapters, and I'm not going to select sections because I'm still working some of these out because I did a major refactor recently. A lot of work's been done here. So I'm generate this. It fires off, and you've seen the screen before. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to do this, but results may vary because it's going to take a little bit longer. What I've done is I've cleaned up the steps a little bit, so you're not going to see as much of the prompting and everything else that usually comes through. It's still happening, obviously, but it's not very useful information. It doesn't really add value to the user. But in this case here, it's getting a little bit better. Now I'm starting to say, okay, chapter 4, and I give the chapter title and I explain what's happening, and it's all within the context of the book. That's one thing you just really have to remember, that
these chapters are driven by each other, so it's like all interlaced. It's like a recursive prompting that's taking place here. So that's one thing. So there I got my email. So the book is just about done. But here's a step that, so it says it's done here, but it's not quite done. And that's something that now it's generating the cover. Now I don't know what that cover is going to look like. This is what makes this even fun, right? So it's telling me it's ready. I have an idea of how long it takes for the cover to generate. You can imagine what it would take, right? Like when you go to GPT and you generate an image, how long it takes for you to get that back. So it's around the same thing, but there's a lot of settings you can play with to make that quicker, or depending if you're just doing a cover image or you're doing more images for the book. So anyways, in this case, I do one image, so that's a lot of talking, but I just want to make sure it's ready when I click that button. But typically that would be part of the last step, and it would say generating cover. Okay, so now I'm going to assume it's ready, so I'm going to click on modify the manuscript, and here we go. I didn't do a thing. All I did was generate. So there's the image I got for that. So you can see that it's the typical hallucinatory kind of craziness, right? And what's awesome about it is that I can do this is like, I can do the post edits now, because when I generate now, I just take what I get, but I'm going to add some post generation in the generation that's going to format it and give you the right, like the text or whatever. So you'll be able to work with an image that represents a book. But now you can see we have it here, and this is in the cover section. So I've added that section as well. So now you're going to be able to, like right now, the buttons that are there are not really, they're kind of a carryover from the My Book section, which I'll show you in a second what that looks like now. So, and then you have your usual items here. When you want to edit your section with the generation that you can still do here. When you want to regenerate some parts of this chapter here, off you go. You've got your preview still. You got your nice preview here. Again, number of words fluctuates. I think I took 1,000, but that's going to increase based on the type of book you're writing and that sort of thing. And you still have your preview up here, which is going to include an image, and I'm going to format this upper part. It's going to be better. It's right now I just decided to just get it up there to see the image and what it would look like. I'm going to work on the resizing and all that good stuff. So let's go back to the editor, and now you still have your add section here, and it has the same idea where here you're going to have, you can add chapters between certain chapters, right? So, and again, you got always remember the context, because it seems like a very easy thing, I'm just going to add a chapter here, but the reality is it has to take into consideration the surrounding chapters in order to really give you good quality stuff that's going to fit right into your story or your narrative or whatever it is you're generating. I keep saying it's book generation, but you have to try to look at it higher. Try to look above that, because that's the thing. That's the engine. That's the AiLouvre engine that really drives all this. So once you have you're happy with what you've done here, you've done your regenerations, you've modified your stuff. You went to your added sections here. You're like, okay, this looks great. This is fine. You mark it as final. Do whatever you need to do, right? And then this is, so there you go. Okay, it's marked as final. I've got to work on that modal. I just changed the UI today, so there's a few things that are going to act a little funny. Now I've got my book. I'm good to go. Now it's generated. So now I go to look at my books to see where it is. Now, this is the cool thing, is that these are all, I didn't do a thing for this, okay? Like I just generated. What you saw me do there is what I just did here. So now I've got all these books, okay? Look at this. I don't know, man. I'm impressed. I think it's super cool. It's like it's so like out there. And, you have them all here, same concept. You go around. So you've got a collection of books essentially, right? It's wild. I think it's wild, man. So you got my books, and here they all are. So now what? Well, that's it. I think that's it. There was one other thing I wanted to show you, and I just it's escaping me. I know it's gonna. Oh yeah. So all right. So now I have all these books, right? So now keep in mind, AiLouvre is the engine that powers this whole generation stuff, and I speak about book generation as it's like the final step in this whole thing, but it's not, because I have another site that I wired up to the same engine, to the same generation engine, to the same ecosystem, and here it is. It doesn't look like much now because it's just a basic website, right? But it's tied in to the endpoints that I'm using to power the AiLouvre that you see here. AiLouvre in itself is not necessarily where you're going to be generating your books. That's just what that is. But here, this site here is consuming those books. So I'm going to log into it, right? And same idea. I view my collection, and now I have a collection of books, and they're the same books over here. So as you can see, I can create as many sites as I want and control the flow of these books in any manner I want. So what's interesting here, I can't play with this one too much because I just did this morning, but this has a full payment system built into it. Not only that, it has some upload capabilities. So in a sense, it is like a mini KDP, right? And this is all mine. So, and this is only one. There's only one. This took me a day. The site itself, I had it built before I even got to this point. I had another idea, and I was doing this KDP now thing, thinking because I do have some books that I have, ebooks that I did use for KDP, and before I got banned from it, and I thought, well, I'll just create my own site and see, just put them up there. You know, they're there. I put them together. Might as well try to make a few bucks off it. And anyways, I just kind of said, oh, I'm not focusing on the right thing, so I went back to the generator. And now I came back to this because it's still in the same solution and it runs against the same services. And so I said, oh, well, I'm just going to tie them all together now. And now I'm starting to create this whole environment, right? See? So now I can add these sites without any problem at all. And I can decide how they're going to be. Is it going to be in a community that's going to come together? Perhaps somebody will want to generate books and have their own storefront. No problem. I have a payment system already hooked up into both of these interfaces. They're using the same payment gateways. All of it's all set up. So that's pretty much the idea. So now these are books I just generated yesterday. Now I've got some ideas of what's going to happen here because, like I said, I'm not even putting a lot of legwork into this. Like I'm just pressing a button and generating and toying around with it. Now imagine if you spent a full day and you started to pump out books after book after book after book after book, day after day, for a few months. You end up with a library of unknown, who knows what, that be like thousands of books, right, for yourself. So think about that. Just think about the opportunity there. If you, I won't get into it all because my video is already too long and I didn't start it off too well, and I'm not going to edit. So that's it. But anyways, I wanted to give you guys a rundown. I could try clicking a few buttons here, but I'm afraid it won't work. So, but you can still, same thing applies with the download. You can still download them in Word. And as you can see here, open that up in Word. And there you have them. This one I think was a bad generation. Yeah, it only had 2 chapters. But yeah, you can kind of see it, and it still goes back to the generations that I was talking about before, where you'll be able to create, EPUBs and all the other various formats. Not to mention the audiobooks. I mean, I generate these images programmatically, right? And that's not a hard thing to do. Like I'm sure everybody does it, but it's the fact that you bring it all together and you end up with something that's worthwhile. And if same thing with the audio part of it. If you want to make an audiobook, and speaking of audiobooks. I do have audiobooks on Findaway that I've created, and I've kind of forgot about them because they didn't seem like they were worth it. Like they're on Spotify, there's some on Barnes and Noble, the Kobo one. They're out there, right? I even have one from Sam Altman one, if you believe it or not. And I never really looked at anything, and I went today because they're doing a migration to another. Findaway is moving things to another service. Anyways, they're changing things around. So I went there to see what was up, and turns out there's royalties in there. So they've been selling, not much, but $30. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute, I haven't even looked at this stuff. So I got 6 more in the queue there that I kind of gave up on. But now I'm going to revisit them because I had to run them through 11 labs, which it's not cheap. It's one of the rules that they have there. Now, this is all this information that goes out of scope on this, but I figured nobody watches my videos anyways, so I might as well just say what I want to say, right? And maybe somebody will see them one day and say, holy shit, Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's like, but now I'm looking at this as an opportunity in the same light. You know, you build up this library, and who knows what somebody might stumble upon in this library. You know, depending on how you generate the books, you could end up with something that's really special, and it catches somebody. You know, it might go viral, or it might be, you know, become a meme, or who knows? People can pick it up and say, "That's a cool story. I wanna. Who owns this?" Well, if you generated it, that's your book. This is your intellectual property. So, you know, you have 30,000 of them. It's not a matter of when. It's not a matter of if, I should say, right? You have 60,000, 100,000. Not undoable. Not a problem at all. You can even automate that. But let's not get out of hand. Or do we? Yeah. Anyway, that's my ramble. All right, so let's see if it goes up. And all right, cheers, guys, and yeah, hope you enjoy it. And remember, don't forget to pick up a copy of which one is it? Marmalade Missing Marmalade. All right, and don't forget the toilet brush, guys. All right, see you on the next. Oh yeah, see you on the next one. All right, okay, bye.